Hello, everybody. Welcome back to yet another Coinsider live stream. And in today's stream, we're going to talk about RWAs, or real world assets, and explore this sector. See, is it still promising? What are the top projects in it? Have they been making moves lately? What are the numbers? We're going to dig into this sector and just see what's up, see what opportunities and alpha there are for us retail investors. But before then, I switched streaming services. So please mic check. Let me know if my mic sounds good. And also, do I look clear? Because I should be way more high def than that crappy streaming service I was using before. So let me know. We're going to jump into RWAs today. I'm really excited to dig into this with y'all. And for those watching us afterwards, I will leave timestamps down for you below so you can skip to different sections. Though ideally you watch the whole thing with us. And then also, I'm going to do streams tomorrow, the day after, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, same time, noon Eastern. So if you like these streams, if you like how I approach things, if you like how I dig into stuff with you guys, then please join us at the same time every day. You don't even have to think about it. Just same time, Coinsider live stream. We're going to dig, and find that alpha. Okay? So, first and foremost, let's see. What are RWAs? Let me share screen with y'all. Share screen. Right here. So, okay. I'm going to talk about the nitty gritty and the details in the stream. But first, for an overview, for those who don't know, what are RWAs? Okay, it's called real world assets. So what are real world assets? Well, it's things that are not in the digital world, like crypto, for example. It's real world stuff like commodities, like oil, gold, stocks even, Tesla stock, Google stock, carbon credits, artwork, like the Mona Lisa, bonds, real estate, pretty much like everything that's like in the real world per se, not in our on-chain world, is off-chain. In this real world asset sector, their whole goal is to tokenize those and bring those on-chain so we could trade them on the blockchain, so we can trade them on DEXs 24/7, so we can do DeFi stuff with them, right? And we can have AI agents interact with them. That's the whole idea of real world assets of this sector. Yes, we will talk about Evo. We will talk about Mantra and Ohm. We will talk about that. You're jumping the gun here, okay? I'm starting with an overview. But one key thing of why people have always been big on the sector is its total addressable market. That is like, how big is its the potential for the sector, right? Because some sectors are like, let's see, what sector, like some random DeFi sectors are like, oh, we're gonna do like yield optimization. That's cool, and people could speculate on that, but that's like a tiny addressable market, right? Or various niche trading bots. Okay, those are tiny market. That's the difference here. We want something with a big market because that's a lot of market to capture potentially for it. So let me share right here these numbers. Real world asset tokenization set for explosive growth. This industry has blossomed to be worth about 180 billion. However, most of that is stable coins, which are real world assets if you think about it, because the real world assets is like the currency, right? The US dollar or the Japanese yen or whatever. However, Standard Charter believes that the baseline market cap for RWAs at the end of the decade will be $30 trillion. So just think about that. If this RWAs in crypto can capture some of that, then this is massive for the projects in there, right? If they can capture just a tiny slice of that, that's going to be billions and billions of dollars worth of value that they could capture. And hopefully, some of that flows to their tokens, depending on their token design. We're going to look at that a little bit further in the stream, but we're going to talk about things like BlackRock, Franklin Templeton doing stuff in this space. And yeah, it's just barely scratching the surface right now. There's like trillions of dollars worth of real world assets that could potentially be tokenized. Here it is. Here's all the different predictions: bear case, base case, and bull case. McKinsey 4 trillion, 10 trillion, Citi 4 trillion, BCG 16 trillion, and Standard Chartered 30 trillion. This is a massive industry that could potentially be captured by these tokenization plays, by these RWA plays. Okay? So the total addressable market is huge, but let's take a look at some of the growth lately in this sector. And this is really interesting. You're going to want to pay attention to this. Okay. So look, Mantra, which is what Evo just talked about, and Ondo Finance. We're going to talk about both of these projects individually later on in the stream. But first, we got to talk about growth numbers. So, let's see. Where is the... Okay, right here. The total value of RWA sector has doubled in the past 12 months alone. Its total value is over 18 billion. And this is excluding stablecoins. BlackRock's Buildle, their tokenized US Treasury fund, has reached a 1 billion asset value. I think it's become larger since then because this is a little bit old. And Hashnote, the tokenized money market fund that Circle acquired recently, is second with nearly 900 million. So yeah, I mean, it's even held up well during this like bear period, which is very impressive. Now this guys, RWA.xyz is what you have to kind of visit. This is the best dashboard that tracks the RWA industry. Every tokenized asset, tokenized real world asset in one place. So total RWA on chain is about 22 billion. It's grown, and stablecoin value is pretty high, but it makes more sense to exclude stablecoin to show, which is what this is showing by default, because stablecoins is massive. Look, it dwarfs everything else. So if you exclude stablecoins, you can see other stuff like private credit, US Treasury debt, commodities, stocks, and other stuff, corporate bonds. You could see all these different things, right? And it shows you how most of it is issued on Ethereum, with ZK Sync having some, Stellar having some. Yeah, now if you include stablecoins, Ethereum's first, followed by Tron, followed by Solana. But exclude stablecoin is more interesting in my opinion. And then you have the market cap of Buildle, which is now close to $3 billion. And gold, remember gold is a commodity, so that makes it a real world asset. Paxos Gold, Tether Gold, both of those are pretty high, close to 800 billion. And then you have Franklin Templeton, like I told you, their US government money fund. And then Ondo, we're going to talk about Ondo soon. So they list out everything here. This, guys, RWA.xyz, this is the best dashboard to really track the growth and the change of the RWA ecosystem. You can see new issuance here, like what is getting issued, what is getting tokenized, guys. That's what they mean. New issuance, what is getting tokenized, and how are they growing? How is it changing? What is growing? What is stalling? And who is issuing more things? How many people are kind of holding these? Yeah, this is all really, really, really interesting. US Treasuries that you can even dig into specific asset classes. You see Buildle number one, and most of this is on Ethereum. Top net flows, Buildle by Securitized Protocol, issuer BlackRock. So yeah, Ondo and then Franklin Templeton. These are the big players, folks. These are the names you got to remember. So this is where you dig into all the numbers. This is how you tell if it's growing or not, right? If this sector is growing and who is making moves. Now, let's dig into BlackRock's Buildle. Now, like I said, I believe this is a little bit old in terms of the numbers, and it's grown since then. And yeah, it's just BlackRock is making moves in the space. They have a Buildle token issued with Securitize, and it's backed by US Treasuries. It has surpassed 1 billion in assets, but this was March. And folks, this is May now. So this is likely increased. And yeah. Yep. Buildle by BlackRock. BlackRock, if you don't remember, is huge on tokenization. Larry Fink always raves about tokenization as the future for securities markets. So they are big on that. This is not something to fade, folks. Not something to fade. And remember how I noted Franklin Templeton, another TradFi giant in the space. They launched a tokenized money market fund on Base. And this was last year. So this was a while ago. I believe they launched on Solana too, if I'm not mistaken. They also launched on Stellar, Polygon, and Arbitrum. So they are tokenized fund managers, and they're making moves. Wall Street is bullish here. Wall Street is making moves in the RWA sector. If you care about what Wall Street's doing, then this is not something to fade. Now, one thing to note is everyone is fading Ethereum, but they are dominating the RWA sector by a wide margin. They are the only arguably credibly neutral chain in terms of layer ones. Bitcoin is too, of course, but you can't really issue RWAs on Bitcoin. In terms of the ones where you can, Ethereum dominates. And for good reason. Think about it. If you're an institution, Ethereum is the one you would take seriously. Not the meme coin casino, not Solana, but Ethereum. And the numbers show. It is by far the most, guys. So that's something I want to point out. Now, I want to dive into a lot of the ones specifically. A lot of the projects specifically. I want to dive into Ondo, Mantra, Stellar, Plume, Chintai, I think that's how you pronounce it, Clearpool, and then I want to talk about catalysts for the sector. But before we get to those, I want to invite y'all to join us over at Retail DAO. That is a community of retail investors, of serious retail investors, which I am a part of, I am a contributor of, but I'm only one person. I'm not the CEO of this. This is a decentralized community of retail investors, of serious retail investors who care about research, who care about alpha, and are not just aping into the latest coins that Murad or Ansem post about on X. So one thing to note is that this is a tokenized community. You need 20,000 of these retail tokens to to pass the token gate. Now, right now, I believe it's like $5 if I'm not mistaken. 20,000, it's like 0.0002. It's like $5, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Let me do the math real quick. 0.002 times. Yeah. It's like $5. It's like around $5. So it's really affordable. It's a one-time thing. You have that in your wallet. I'm not telling anyone to buy more of this to speculate. This is a slow and steady, brick by brick community we're building. Let me just talk to y'all without all these charts. Our goal is to build the best community for retail investors in the world as a community effort. So there's no VCs, there's no big money like investment that we can just throw at everything. This is brick by brick, decentralized effort. Would love for you to join us. All you got to do is buy retail coin, just 20,000. That's the minimum you need, and you can join. Go into the Discord. The link below gets you to our website, where you can find the Discord, and then just pass the Collabland joined verification process. All it does is read your wallet token balance, and you're in. You're in. You can join the discussion. Remove that Ohm scam coin. It looks so bad, but we're going to talk about that. We're about to dive into that, folks. We're about to dive into all the projects, including Mantra and Ohm, and talk about the fiasco that happened there. I'm not going to just gloss over that, of course. We're going to talk about the scam coin and reputation it has. So, okay, back to RWAs. Give me a second. We are going to start with Ondo Finance. Promise you we're going to go into some of the other ones. We're going to go into Mantra, Ohm, Mantra. How do you even pronounce that? Is it Mantra or Mantra? And is it Ohm, O-M? That kind of sounds like Olympus Dow's Ohm coin with O-H-M. But let me know. All right, let me share my screen. Okie dokie. Ondo Finance, arguably the biggest one. Coin market cap, real or assets sector. Arguably the biggest one. Actually, let me just see this. Okay, well, these are more like infrastructure. That doesn't really count. Chainlink, Avalanche, Stellar, Hedera. But look, out of the ones that are like actually fully RWA, Ondo, like you guys are talking about some of these other ones, but they're not. They're more infrastructure, right? They do other stuff. They're not only RWA. Ondo is mostly only RWA, and then we got this quote unquote scam coin right here. And we have some other ones we're going to talk about, even smaller, like Chintai, Plume. We're going to talk about, and Clearpool. We're going to talk about. See, we're going to talk about these. Oh, Centrifuge. Ooh, Centrifuge. And yeah, I mean, some of the ones y'all are talking about are like tooling or infrastructure. They're not necessarily fully like only RWAs, you know? But anyhow, Ondo, they have a platform, assets, and infrastructure to bring financial markets on chain. Remember, that's what RWAs are all about, bringing real-world assets on chain. Now, this website has kind of evolved over the years, but they have a lot of supported chains, integrated projects, and you can borrow and lend against US treasuries. They even have stuff like on Tesla, on Visa, I guess stocks. Not available in the USA though, of course. You can't trade tokenized stocks yet, according to regulations. But Ondo Global Markets is a platform that brings traditional public securities, aka stocks, on chain. And they have APIs for people to build off of too. They even have Ondo Nvidia stock and things like that. Now, this is a big one. Have y'all heard? Let me just scroll down a quick. Okay. Have you heard about this? Their Ondo chain. They have their own L1 for RWAs now. It's a public proof of stake layer 1 blockchain specifically designed for institutional grade real world assets. So here's the thing though. It's kind of permissioned. Keyword permissioned right here. Let me just make this bigger for y'all to see. where is that word? Permission, folks. That's why a lot of people didn't like this. And I want to talk about more about that, why some people didn't like this Ondo chain. They announced this quite recently, like within the past couple of months, I believe, or few months. Yeah, so right here, permission validators, you see? This is the key. This is why we dig. It will include regulated financial institutions, and they'll be monitored to prevent front running and support best execution. So this is a chain for the institutions pretty much. And you know they don't like the wild west of regular crypto DeFi. They don't like hacks. They don't like things like that. So it makes sense that it has to be permissioned. But a lot of people were upset about this Ondo chain announcement because they were like, it should be an L2 instead. They're like, why another L1? It's just going to fragment the liquidity. It's just going to, like, it's just unnecessary. They're like, it should be an L2 on top of Ethereum. That's what people were thinking. And honestly, I do wish they did that because there's way too many L1s. Everyone's building their own L1 chain. Is it necessary? Honestly, no. Honestly, no. It's just that. Let me know in the chat if you think all these apps and all these projects should be building their own L1s. I don't think so. I think most of them should be L2s, if anything. But yeah. Ondo's cool, but don't waste your breath. I'm not telling people to buy Ohm. I just think it's an interesting project to look into. And we're definitely going to talk about the scam component of it and the fiasco that happened that made their token crash 90%. So actually, let's get into that because you guys have been mentioning Ohm a lot lately. So without further ado, let's just dive right into that mantra Ohm thing. So, okay. Let me see. We are going to dive right into that. So where are they? Let me just share my screen. Remember, here is the real world assets sector. And this used to be a lot higher in it. But where is it? Dang, did I just lose it? Dang, it fell all the way down. What the heck? Wait, this screen. Ah, right here, 134. So, guys, look at this craziness. This was insane. And it hasn't really recovered since then. This looks like Luna. This looks like freaking Terra Luna. But first of all, we got to answer some key questions. What is Mantra? What are they doing? They used to be highly thought of in the RWA space. So what were they even about? Yes, please hit the likes. Crypto Princess, thank you so much for the support. Please hit the likes, folks. We're digging into RWAs in this stream. We are digging into RWAs, this entire sector in this stream. So what are they, and what caused this? I really want to dig into this. This is not those streams from the other streamers who are just like, oh, we're gonna read the news and give my opinion. That's it. This is not Coinsider streams. We dig, we look at research, we look at analysis, we look further in the streams. Okay, that is what we do in Coinsider. That's what we do in Retail DAO. So if you heard my segment earlier about Retail DAO, would love for you to join us. Link below in the description. Okay, so first of all, before we get to the fiasco, what is Mantra even doing? Well, they are real world assets, like we said, bringing things on chain, and they are governance, compliance, you know, the usual stuff. Ohm token supply. They even have staking, swaps. They even have some DeFi stuff for themselves. I believe they also did like a lot of real world real estate. I believe they also had real estate. Am I mistaken? Let Let me see. Mantra real estate tokenization. Yeah, like you see this, like Dubai, they're like real estate tokenizing real estate in Dubai. Um, right here, January of 2025. See, I wasn't tripping. I remember this. Mantra blockchain to tokenize $1 billion of real world assets for that. So here's the thing. I think real world assets, real estate tokenization, everyone has tried to do this before. I'm not really bullish on that though, because a problem with all these tokenizing things is what's the point of their like governance token or underlying token? A lot of the value doesn't flow back into it. And that's the key problem with things like Mantra. Remember how you saw that it absolutely collapsed. So what happened there? That's the question. What happened? A look into Mantra Ohm tokens dramatic 90% crash. This is a Luna style crash, folks. So what happened? Well, three main things. Reckless liquidations. The Mantra team blamed external actors engaging in reckless liquidations, which triggered a cascade effect across changes. They blaming the market makers and stuff. Market manipulations. They say that critics say that insiders dumped a ton of tokens. And that's the problem, because a significant portion of Ohm tokens was held by a few wallets. That's why folks, let me just talk to you face to face here. That's why folks in this channel, we always talk about tokenomics. That's why we always dig into tokenomics in our regular videos, in these streams. That's why we care about tokenomics, because even if a project has $1 billion real estate deal with Dubai, tokenomics matters. That's a huge part of fundamentals. I would say like the team, the tech, the support, the marketing, all important. Don't get me wrong, all super important. But tokenomics is arguably like 50% of it. Like real talk. So we see that straight up here. We see that straight up. I'm not going to delete your comment. I'm not a like apologist for this, Sujin. This is real talk. It potentially has a similar risk, but let's see. Okay, let me go back to this. So the Mantra team has denied involvement, and Laser Digital, a strategic investment, they also deny, of course. And Binance and OKX have attributed the crash to cross-exchange liquidations. So yeah, people have honestly given up hope on them. And they released this statement. See, updates and next steps. They released this statement at the end of April. So that's recently. This is really recent, guys. This is like a week or a week and a half. They say they have governance improvements, enhanced transparency. They promise to burn some of their own tokens. The Mantra chain works, of course. That's not the issue. The issue was like tokenomics shenanigans, guys. So this isn't like apples to apples with a lot of the other crazy crashes that we've seen. This wasn't necessarily like protocol issue. This wasn't necessarily like, you know, like fraud. Nah, I wouldn't use that word here. This was just like maybe coordinated selling, you know, coordinated attack by market makers. Who knows? But obviously this is not a good look for one, which was formerly one of the top projects in the real world asset sector. Yeah, they burned approximately 150 million. I wouldn't touch Ohm now. Honestly, me neither. But at 300 million market cap, FDV 600 mil, for those who want to potentially bet on them coming back, wouldn't be crazy. Wouldn't be crazy. Oh, dang. Look at this, guys. Just down, 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 down. Down, down, down. More down. More down. Yeah, it is scary. It is scary just to look at it, JJ. I feel you. I feel you, man. But it's not only Ondo, and it's not only Mantra. Let's move on to some other ones. So we're going to go throwback. We're going to go old school. How many of y'all, hey, raise your hand, chat. Raise your hand right in the chat if you remember Stellar Lumens, XLM. This was like the Ripple brother, the sister project of Ripple, whatever you want to call it. This was like, they were all about like institutions and like, you know, kumbaya, building stuff for all the emerging economy or like the developing nations, you know, things like that. Wow, look at these like cycle movements. Didn't even know it pumped that much. Maybe this pump like, yeah, this is like a Trump election pump, but then it kind of retraced some of that. Yeah, so this is Stellar, but let's talk about it. Let's look at the website. What is Stellar? Is where blockchain meets the real world. Okay. Grants. Yeah. They care about like global payments, things like that. This is a big look, they care about like the developing economy and stuff. They're not only like crypto degen stuff. MoneyGram, okay, kind of, there's just so much. They're like Ripple's little brother, essentially. Except potentially less like grifting and stuff. But anyways, let's talk about how Stellar relates to real world assets. Because remember, guys, this stream is about real world assets. Let's see. Stellar is on here. Stellar is number 3. Stellar is the second largest layer 1. Let me just enhance this for y'all. Stellar is the second largest layer 1 for RWA after Ethereum, with about $500 million in tokenized treasuries, commodities, and yield-bearing stablecoins. So Stellar is all in on, and even Franklin Templeton used Stellar. I think they did other stuff too, but they are focused on this sector a lot. This is one sector that they're big on. So Stellar aspires to power the $3 billion in RWA value on chain within this year alone. To power 3 billion. Yeah, they are focused on this. Stellar is making moves. I don't remember exactly, but that could be possible in New Frontiers. Stellar is the retail verse? I wouldn't say that. Stellar is also very institutional, Crypto Princess. Yeah, so that's Stellar, but there's more to go. There is more to go, folks. Ones that I haven't, they're like newer stuff, okay? Like this one, folks. Plume. Who here likes Plume? Let's look at that price action. Not bad. Price action, not bad. This is also real world assets. 300 mil market cap. Oh, FDV is high. 2 bill already. Dang. Only 2 bills circulating out of 10 bill. Okay, that's not that great. But anyhow, they are pioneering a new sector called RWAI. Basically combining real world assets with DeFi, which makes sense, right? If you bring all these assets on chain, what are you going to do with them? Like, yes, you can trade them, swap them, own them, hold them, but then DeFi makes so much sense too. If you have a Tesla token, can you get some yield on it? That's what DeFi does, right? Can you lend and borrow it? So Plume is doing a lot of these real world assets. They're backed by pretty top company or top VC funds, excuse me. And they are Explore ecosystem. They're building on Plume. But what exactly does Plume, oh, they have a chain, Plume chain. Okay. Documentation. Let's read. Let's dig, folks. Let's dig. That's what we do. We're not just looking at freaking the first page here. Okay. Plume is a public blockchain, particularly for yield-bearing assets that offer stability, transparency, and income generation. Okay. They have DeFi infrastructure. We enable issuers to issue tokenized assets. They have developers. The future are... Okay. Core features. Built-in AML compliance. It must be permission then, right? Liquidity and trading support. Data integration analytics. Okay. That's pretty standard. Yeah, so they're just building like a chain and ecosystem for like making, like to help you bring more out of your tokenized real world assets. That's what it looks like. So this is interesting, but there's more, folks. There's more. Hold on, we're not done yet. There's other projects. Chintai. I hope I'm pronouncing these correctly. Chintai, or... So what's the difference between RWA and RWA-Fi? RWAs is just like bringing the actual real world assets on chain and like creating tokens around them. RWA-Fi is bringing the decentralized finance to that, like different DeFi stuff, allowing those tokens that represent like stocks, commodities, etc. Let them do DeFi stuff. That's RWA-Fi. It's pretty simple. Yeah, thanks for asking. So this is Chintai checks. Okay, not the wars. Almost 200 mil market cap. FDV. If this is right, this is great. I love it when this circulating market cap matches up with this number matches this number, or it's close. I love it when that happens. But let's look at Chintai. That's such a weird name, Chintai. What does that even mean? Tokenization. This is a very like institutional. You can already tell by looking at this. Like compliance, blockchain platform as a service. This is like things as a service. This is like instant business to business talk. Corporate videos, you see this? Yeah, this is very corporate. And if I'm not mistaken, yes, Singapore. This is like a Singapore base. How it works. So they're just helping you bring like your assets on chain. Issuance, secondary trading, automated corporate actions. It's just helping you bring your real world assets on chain. Right? Like this is it. Custody, distribution, liquidity. This is like what you need. This is what RWAs need to exist on chain. That's it. And Chintai is doing that. Now, what does their token do? I'm not exactly sure. What is the utility of checks token Chintai? Utility token, transaction fees on Chintai network, accessing services, incentivizing liquidity. Okay, not bad. Now the question is, do they have a lot of adoption? Now that I'm unsure of, but it's not that big of a project yet. So if they can get more adoption, and if their utility kind of increases, or their like activity per se, then that could be a reason to be bullish. But not the most exciting project per se. And as we know in the crypto space, excitement does matter. Okay, let's see. we have more, folks. We have more in the RWA space. We're focusing on RWA, folks. Let's not get distracted. We're going to do other areas this week, like maybe DPIN. Chat, if you want DPIN, if you want me to do a deep dive into DPIN maybe tomorrow, similar to today, we're going to talk about the latest growth numbers. We're going to talk about the latest developments and major projects. If you want DPIN, let me know in the chat. Type DPIN in the chat and give this video a like, and I'll know to do it tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll find something else, maybe that the retail DAO VIPs want me to do. But anyways, we're not done with RWAs yet. There's another one. Let's see. This is Clearpool. 100 million. This is a smaller one. And let's take a look at what they're doing. RWA yield, decentralized credit, lending and borrowing, decentralized credit marketplace. They've originated quite a bit of loans. Total value locked is a little bit on the low end, but not bad for a growing project. They get different APRs on Ethereum, Optimism, and Mantle. Institutional, this is kind of low here. USDX Treasury Pool. They're backed by some of the top funds, though. Permissionless product. Okay, I like that. They have staking. They have a multi-chain bridge. Yeah, I like Clearpool, but they also have institutional ones. It's a decentralized dynamic marketplace for institutional capital. Powered by the C-Pool token. It's a utility and governance token that powers the Clearpool ecosystem. Borrowers stake C-Pool before launching liquidity pools. Lenders stake C-Pool to enhance lending APRs. Fixed supply of 1 billion. And how many is circulating? Oh, according to this, most of it is circulating. It's also verified according to CoinMarketCap. That's very promising on the tokenomics side. Only one guy, only Hi J Park wants DPIN. No one else wants DPIN. Algorand, I'm not really that excited about it. Yeah, it's just another layer one in the long race of layer one. It's kind of a dino coin, in my opinion. So, folks, let's talk about catalysts. This is big. Let's talk about catalysts, and let me sector catalysts right here. Let's talk about RWA sector catalysts. So I think the main thing is regulation, because that's really important for this sector, right? Obviously, if you're going to bring stocks and real estate and commodities on chain, you got to get the regulators on board. Fortunately, the UAE, as you see with Dubai, Singapore, they have clear regulations. And even Europe, I believe, with Mika, I know there's a lot of bad things with it, but I believe it does give a clear framework for bringing RWAs on chain. And the US, we can expect more stuff with the new like Paul Atkins and Trump administration being more crypto friendly. Also, here's something for you. A lot of institutions and corporations are bullish on tokenization, as you know. 86% of Fortune 500 executives see tokenization benefits, with 35% developing projects. So they're very bullish on this. But here's the thing. This makes me think that this sector is more for institutions than retail, right? It's not really for us, guys. Can we buy some of their tokens? Yeah, but if you want stuff that you can also use and also like see the benefits of and try out, this sector is not really that for us. And I'm also bearish on some stuff, like I said, in terms of bringing real estate on chain. That's been tried so much, guys. I just don't like it. I don't think it's really worth it. But yeah, D-pin. Okay, we have more people writing D-pin, D-pin. Okay, if people want D-pin, then I'll do D-pin tomorrow. Deep dive into D-pin. So, folks, this was a great stream. Please join me same time, noon Eastern, every day. I'm gonna deep dive into stuff like D-pin. I'm gonna deep dive into stuff depending on what's like, what pops up, what you guys want. Right in the chat, what chat wants, what the comment wants, what retail DAO VIPs want. They'll also let me know, and I'll cover what they want. And yeah, please give this a like. Please join me same time. My mic is clear now. No technical difficulties this time. My video is clear. It's not blurry as heck. Screw that other streaming service I was using. I have something better now. I will catch y'all in the next one.